Okay, I'm back. Did you miss me? That's a pretty lousy thing to do, to just disappear for 3 weeks, no explanation, no warning. Wouldn't blame you if you decided you didn't really need to watch Soul Care with Stevie Boy anymore. But in case you said, okay, I'll give the guy a second chance, I'm glad you did. And ready to dive back in to the Sermon on the Mount. We're ready for Matthew chapter 6. Last time, we're down, last time we did verses 19 through 21 about where your treasure should be stored, storing up treasures, and what are our treasures and why do we treasure them, and what kinds of treasures really matter in the long run. Okay, verse 23. This is a little bit of an enigmatic kind of passage, but I'll dive in and booger it up. So that's what I do. That's my calling. The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are good, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eyes are bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light within you is darkness, how great is that darkness? Okay, so we're talking about, are we talking about a physiological thing? Is this medical? Is this ophthalmological? Or could it possibly be metaphorical? Because the eyes are not literally lamps, but in a metaphorical sense, the eyes are. And if your eyes are good, meaning if they see clearly, then your whole body will be good. Here's what I get from that. When my perspective is right, when I'm seeing things as they really are, when my eyes are good, it sets up the rest of me to be able to live within and work within a consistent reality. And the result of that is not always happy. You've had it happen, I've had it happen, that reality stinks sometimes. And I would much rather my life be organized around a fantasy of good things than this symphony of crummy things that reality is given me here. Well, he goes on and he talks about if your eyes are bad, then your whole body will be full of darkness. And what I get from this is, if your perspective is wrong, then the rest of your life and the rest of your being will struggle, because as opposed to good eyes that provide light, you've got bad eyes that bring darkness. And he then he's kind of doing a well, here, write this down, it'll be on the test kind of deal. He said, if then the light within you is darkness, how great is that darkness? I just think what he's saying is, this is not just about your eyes and physical light. This is a spiritual matter. And when your eyes are darkened, when you do not see the spiritual reality for what it really is, then the darkness is incredible. How great is that darkness? All right. If you just pop that out and you try to make some kind of a philosophical underpinning or theological hammer point, There's enough there probably to do that. But that's not what Jesus was doing. Look what he follows it up with. And then he says, this is in our verse 24, no one can serve two masters. Either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. The headings in I have an NIV study Bible that I look into from time to time that I'm using today. And the headings for this, treasures in heaven, that takes in from verse 19 all the way to the end of verse 24 that I just finished reading. So so this good eyes, bad eyes, lightness, darkness, somehow a connect to where your treasure is, and you can't serve two masters. I think it is. I think one of the things that often messes with our minds, messes with our view of reality and our perspective of life, our life, and the lives of people around us, and often just the life in general, has to do with how do we think about, how do we perceive money. Well, first of all, Jesus said, don't be fooled, because what the real treasures are in heaven, and you have this opportunity and responsibility to place your treasures in heaven, where thieves don't break in and moth doesn't destroy, and it's secure. How do you do that? Well, starts with perspective. You know what? If my perspective is clear and I realize money is merely a tool, it's a means, but it's not an end. And that the end is not just my happiness and satisfaction. Those are byproducts. The end is laying up treasure in heaven. Because if money is only good for now, and by the way it is, I don't care how long you live, you didn't live that long. And I don't care how much money you had, your money didn't keep your life from going away when it goes away. It can't. To some degree, I suppose you can buy health by spending more money on your diet and visiting doctors more often and going to a fat farm or a health something or other. Maybe. But you know this. There are millions of people who have more money than they know what to do with, who have done everything they could to buy their health and happiness, and they're very unhappy. They don't like their life, and they don't like others either. Look at one of the richest men in the world that wants to, you're going to think this is political. It's not. I'm just telling you what he has said. There are too many people on this planet. We need to thin the herd. So let's thin the herd. Really? First of all, have you ever driven across the U.S.? Because if you've ever driven across the United States, you realize this country is not overpopulated. Not by a long shot. But if you get on a plane in Seattle, Washington, and you fly to New York City, all you're going to see is there's a lot of people. All right. I get all messed up with that stuff, but I will say, I don't think that guy's happy. He divorced his wife. He's got more money. He'll never be able to spend all the money that he has. I just don't think he's happy. And I think he's trying to find these causes to bring him satisfaction and fulfillment. You can't buy those things. And Jesus says, in fact, here's the deal. Bottom line on money. There's probably more than one bottom line, but here is the principal bottom line. And I think because Jesus said this in this particular sermon, where he was hammering at the fundamental, basic, most significant things in the life of a God-fearing person. And for us, a follower of Jesus, he hits it. Bottom line, you cannot serve both God and money. It won't work. I think, and I'm a little bit in the theoretical category here because I've never had enough financial wealth to be able to say I've done it and I can tell you. But here's my thought, and we can throw it out if it's no good. I want my money to serve God. I don't want me serving my money. And I think that's the point Jesus was making. So how do I make my money serve God? All right, just briefly, and I'm a Dave Ramsey advocate, but I'm not Dave. I can't tell you this much, though. If you don't tell your money where to go, it'll go places you had no idea it went. I do know what it's like to invest a significant percentage of my income in God's kingdom. And you know what? Almost always that comes down to I'm investing that money into people and projects. One of the projects is the church I'm a part of. The Crossings Midtown here in Las Vegas. The people part is in people I know who were on the field as missionaries doing the work that I don't think I can be there and do. So I can do a little bit at least to help them, to sustain them, so that they can stay there and do what they are fashioned for, where their passion is, and where there is a need. So what I'm going to just say is, this is a good time. There's never a bad time for us to stop and look in the mirror, look in the rear view mirror, and evaluate. What is my money? Am I serving my money? By that, I mean, am I just in this dead run to make more money? No, I don't want to serve my money. I want my money, at the very least, to serve me. No, that's not a high enough motive. That will wear thin, and it'll make me cranky. It'll make me selfish. It'll make me easily offended. I want my money in the service of God, His kingdom, His people. So, how are you doing with that? This is not like, you ought to be doing more. No, I'm just saying, take a look. And pray a simple prayer. God, I don't want to serve two masters. I only want to serve you. And so, whatever money you put in my stewardship, I want it to serve you. So God, make me a wise, even a shrewd steward of whatever money you put in my care. I want it to serve you. I'll see you next time on So Care with Stevie Boy.